Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, wherever you are and however you may be listening, welcome to another episode of The Alpha, the show where we talk about the hottest topics in pop culture and sports. I thank you guys for joining me so much for another episode. This one is going to be very pop culture heavy. Not a lot of things going on in the world of sports right now. The NFL draft is going to be coming up in the coming week, in the coming days. It's actually 6 days from today, so I'm going to be doing a live stream for that. So be on the lookout for that. But in this podcast, we're going to be talking about the drama regarding the Fantastic Four, the drama regarding Nico Iamaleava and his departure from Tennessee, and the effects of NIL and why I think NIL should be changed to a certain degree. We're going to talk about the Supergirl Set Leaks that were leaked earlier in the week, along with Lobo, a new look at Superman. And then we're going to end it off with some comments that Anthony Mackie recently made about Avengers Doomsday and what to look forward to in that film. But before we get into all that, be sure to hit that like button on the video and subscribe to the channel. And without further ado, let's get to the podcast. So we had an article that was released by Entertainment Weekly last week, where it was a magazine release as well, where they were talking about the Fantastic Four and essentially just getting the audience a new look into the movie. And there was some political things that were brought up, and it is scaring a lot of the fandom. It's scaring me as well. So we are going to look at the article, and I'm going to pinpoint the exact aspect of the article that is in question, and we are going to review it together. The actor, Joseph Quinn, who is portraying Johnny Storm, was essentially wanting to deviate away from what the Johnny Storm of old has been known for. Johnny is Marvel's archetype of a hothead teenager, but what exactly that means has been open to interpretation over the years. In the 2005 and 2007 Fantastic Four movies, for instance, Chris Evans played the character as a skirt-chasing scalawag. Quinn wanted to do something different. He's a man that leads with a lot of bravado, which can be upfront sometimes, but he's also funny, Quinn says. Myself and Marvel Studios' Kevin Feige were speaking about previous iterations of him and where we are culturally. He was branded as this womanizing, devil-may-care guy, but is that sexy these days? I don't think so. This version of Johnny is less callous with others people's feelings, and hopefully there's a self-awareness about what's driving that attention-seeking behavior. Johnny is the little brother of the Fantastic Four, but that's not the quality that defines him. He's really smart, blah, 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 blah. So that's essentially what we're going to put into question. What troubles me about this is the fact that Marvel and Disney will never learn. What have I talked about with the movie industry? I have a podcast that is going to be released, and I just talked about this in the movie industry and the state of the movie industry. Give the audience what they want. This movie, specifically, is set in the 60s. The first comic book for the Fantastic Four, which was the very first family ever created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. That comic was released in 1961 of November. The movie, again, is set in the 60s. Wouldn't you think that you would try to do an accurate portrayal of the Fantastic Four, a movie that is already set in the 60s? The comic book for them came out in the 60s. But no, we got to modernize the film for the modern audience. And I've argued against this many times. We don't want that. Most audiences don't want this political aspect stuff in the film. Here's the comments that he made. He accused Johnny Storm of being branded as a womanizer. But is that sexy these days? I don't know, he quoted. Yes, it is sexy these days. What have us, including me, what has fans of Johnny always stated? We love the fact that he's this guy. He is a brat, essentially. He's this character that he does whatever he wants, whenever he wants to, no matter what Reed and Sue always says, especially his sister Sue. Chris Evans' portrayal of him in 2005 and 2007, I loved it. I imagine most of the audience did love it. A lot of fans of the Fantastic Four team. Why would you deviate away from that just because you're trying to be more sensitive? No. I tell everybody, most of the audience and most of the fans would love that portrayal of Johnny. That's what gravitates us to the character, because he's different compared to the other three of the members of the Fantastic Four. That's why in the 2005 and 2007 portrayal of the film, his chemistry with Ben specifically was great. The funny comments, even though it was a little sensitive, you can say, but the funny comments he was making about him wanting to have sexual relation with his girlfriend, and he is a rock and he can't do it. That's funny. It was hilarious. And even though, again, it's a sensitive aspect to the film, but he brought up, I think, as well, the fact that she was blind and can't see. So I was like, okay, how are you going to, how does that affect your relationship? Is it more sensitive to today's world? Yes, but it was funny. It was good entertainment. I just don't understand why you would change that. That's who Johnny Storm is. He's been that way for 60 years. And now all of a sudden, we get a new adaptation of the Fantastic Four. I'm excited for it. A lot of the fans are excited for it. And then you go on to do something like this and change the way Johnny acts. I just reacted to the trailer that they just released. It seems like I can tell that I think Johnny is still going to be funny to a certain degree, but I don't think he's going to be that just, I'm going to do whatever I want whenever I want to. I'm going to go I'm going to just do what I do and go as I go throughout my day, and I'm not going to listen to what nobody says. I love that about the Johnny character in the old interpretation of the film. I thought that's what made the movie work. Chris Evans' portrayal of the film was what made me gravitate towards the film. But it's very disheartening to know that they're taking away that aspect of the film. I don't get it. I don't understand it. And we're going to move on to Vanessa Kirby's bit of the piece here, because I can argue that this part of it is more concerning to me, because it's not about, and I can say this because Jessica Alba's portrayal of Sue Storm for me was a little too over-sexualized. I can agree on that front. But the way Vanessa Kirby has talked about the character and the way she's going about it, why? So we're going to talk about it, and we're going to read about it right here. Achieving global political peace sounds only slightly harder than synthesizing the decades-long fictional history of Sue Storm. As Marvel's first female superhero, she's been part of the Fantastic Four since its first issue. But back then, she carried the relatively demeaning codename of Invisible Girl. Could only turn herself invisible and mostly function as a damsel in distress. Vanessa Kirby went on to say, and I quote, "If you played an exact 60s Sue Storm today, everyone would think she was a bit of a doormat. So figuring out how to capture the essence of what she represented to each generation, where the gender politics were different, and embodied that today was one of the greatest joys of this. Over the years, Sue evolved in several ways. Her abilities expanded from individual invisibility to control over electromagnetic light and force fields, making her arguably the team's most powerful leader. At various times, she became a mother, a leader, and a skimpily clad dominatrix named Malice. Synthesizing all these aspects into a single character was a lot of fun for Kirby, who says motherhood in particular became the key through line. Indeed, Sue's pregnancy will play a significant part in the plot of First Steps. Matt and I were really aware that there haven't really been a mother with a baby in these superhero archetypes women have been getting. One of the things I love most from Sue's history is when she becomes Malice and all the dark stuff comes out. I was obsessed with that chapter of her life, so I wanted to make sure there was tones of Malice in there with her, and there wasn't a stereotype of goody sweet mother. I've always been interested in the mess of femininity, and how can you be both? How can you be all the things? Not just a tough, invisible, powerful woman, but also a mother who gives birth, which is a superhero act itself. As I just previously stated, I wasn't a fan of Jessica Alba's portrayal of the character in the one regard that she was sexualized a lot. But it seems that Vanessa Kirby is wanting to just get involved in a lot of gender politics when it comes to her portrayal of Sue Storm. So something that I am worried about in this movie is the fact that she is going to be pregnant. Why Marvel decided to do this, I don't know. You haven't had a movie in 15, almost 20 years for the Fantastic Four. New cast, new characters and all. And you're going to go ahead and establish that she's pregnant. Already. Haven't had Vanessa Kirby in the film, and we're already just going to introduce another family member into the Fantastic Four. When we haven't had a chance to sit and enjoy Pedro Pascal. I don't remember the guy's name that's playing the Thing, and Joseph Quinn and Vanessa Kirby. We just can't enjoy them for a couple of movies until we got to deal with the fact that we're already going to have a new introduction into the family, and Sue being pregnant and Reed Richards being pregnant. I don't agree with that decision. I think this is more than likely going to set up the Young Avengers aspect that has been revealed in the concept leaks, even though the Russo brothers did come out and say that those were not true. But with this news, it makes it all but true, in my opinion. And just a couple of things that she said. A thought of a regular Sue Storm in the 60s wouldn't be appropriate. This is the same thing I was saying about Johnny Storm. The comic book was made in the 60s. This movie is made in the 60s. Why would you not do a regular Sue Storm? Like, I just don't get it. Don't mess with the source material. Stay true to the source material. Has Sue Storm been pregnant in the comics? Yes, but she was not pregnant in the 60s version. She was not pregnant in the 60s. Stay with that interpretation. Stay with the interpretation of the Fantastic Four most audiences are accustomed to. We don't need any type of gender politics involved in this movie. We just really don't. So you're essentially changing up two of the most vital characters that we originally fell in love with in the first original movie. I loved Chris Evans. I'm sure a lot of people love Jessica Alba as well. And in general, Johnny Storm and Sue are my favorites in comparison to The Thing and Reed Richards. But that's just me. It's disappointing. It is very disappointing. So that we're just going to explore gender politics with Vanessa Kirby then. We're going to explore her being a mother. And the more troubling thing that just bothered me as well is she called being a mother a superhero act. Really? We got to incorporate being a mom and compare it to being a superhero nowadays. Okay, this may be a hot take for me personally, but I don't know what fighting crime and defeating Doctor Doom and defending the world from the Galactus in the upcoming film, and how does that compare to being a mother? I don't know. But just Marvel's never going to learn. It's heartbreaking to know that she's going to be pregnant, and I've saw in the trailer, so it seems like we're going to get going to be able to see her without being pregnant and be able to fight crime and do what Sue needs to do. It seems probably that she's probably going to be the leader of the team, because I was saying this earlier, I don't think I'm a like Pedro Pascal's Reed Richards. I don't think I am. So far, I've not cared for the way that Pedro Pascal has acted out the character. It just don't scream Reed Richards to me. He don't scream this nerdy, just weird character. So far from what I've seen in the trailer, I just don't like any aspect of it. But altogether, gender politics is involved in this film. Obviously, we know that they're not going with Norrin Radd as well as the Silver Surfer. I guess it's going to be his wife. So, look, we knew politics was already going to in this film to begin with, and they just wanted to throw some more on top of that with this news with Johnny and Vanessa Kirby, Sue Storm. The movie is still going to do well. This ain't going to be a Snow White situation where just this is going to hurt the movie in any aspect or any way. I don't. People like me and many other Marvel fans of the Marvel Universe, Cinematic Universe, and fans of the Fantastic Four are going to see this film. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I do think this film is going to make $500 to $600 million. I don't see a situation where it's going to make over that. I do think there is a possibility, though. A real possibility. I think Superman might make more than Fantastic Four. I think it will. But I don't see this article and this news deviating audiences away from the film, because even myself, I still want to see the film because I love Fantastic Four. It's just Disney just cannot help themselves, and they won't learn. You think they would have learned from Snow White, but given this movie's already been made before the Snow White stuff came out, maybe they'll learn their lesson with Avengers Doomsday. I don't think they're going to learn their lesson with Avengers Doomsday either. It's just disappointing. I hope Hollywood just understands, but it's Hollywood. Hollywood's going to do whatever they want. They're going to continue to do the crap that they're doing, and they're just not. They're never going to understand that you got to know who your target audience is. Your target audience is hardcore Marvel fans who have been here since 2008 when Iron Man was released, who has endured the MCU since the golden age of the Infinity Saga to the crap that is the multiverse saga right now as we speak. You would think that they would cater to those who have been with them through thick and thin. But no, they're more worried about changing up the Fantastic Four, changing up the source material, what the original characters were, and try to appeal to the modern audience in the hopes of making more money. If only Marvel really understood how big their support and their fans are. If you would stick to the source material, you would make an easy $700-800 million in this film. Easily. The much anticipation that was going into this project. I mean, with the status of the MCU alone and putting the Fantastic Four in it, and you're setting up Doctor Doom in the coming, easy $800 million. But they just can't help themselves. And Marvel's going to continue to Marvel. And I do see myself enjoying this film. Don't get me wrong. The Johnny thing's got me hurting because I loved Chris Evans' portrayal of Johnny. I really did. And it's just something to Hope that Marvel can fix in the future. Moving on, we are going to talk about the Nico Iamaleava drama. So, last week, Nico Iamaleava, he is the quarterback for the Tennessee Volunteers. He led them to the college football playoff this past year. And he missed practice on a random Friday out of nowhere. And you could only imagine what it was about. The main thing that's running college football right now. NIL. So, he just doesn't show up to practice over NIL disputes on a random Friday. And then the head coach, on the same day, if I'm not mistaken, cuts him. He entered the transfer portal as of yesterday, actually, and it is rumored now that he is going to head over to UCLA, which a lot of college football reporters did say that he was going to go. He was making $2.4 million, and it was reportedly that he was asking for $4 million. Players such as Carson Beck was already making $4 million. But Nico Iamaleava is going to be the scapegoat for this problem. But it is an overlapping problem with this whole NIL and the transfer portal and everything else. It's bad. There is no regulations. It needs structure. Nick Saban has worried us about this. Coaches have dropped. All the older coaches has retired. We had Nick Saban to retire. You had the basketball coach from the Miami Hurricanes. He had just went to the Sweet 16 or Elite 8 the year before that. And all of a sudden, the next year, NIL is more prominent, and he's gone. He had a great ball club. Coach K, they warned us about it. They knew it was going to be a problem. And Nico Iamaleava is going to be the scapegoat for this. But my problem with Nico Iamaleava is this. You sign the contract. Abide by the contract. Kid, you're making... This isn't going to be generational money for you. The goal is to make it to the NFL. And I've always said, I do think that college athletes should get paid. I don't think that the college athlete who is coming from certain housing conditions, he's going to these D1 universities. Yes, he's getting his scholarship. It pays for everything, food, room, boarding, and all that. But guess what? Who's going to help pay for the food that the child is dealing with, and if he wants to stay off campus, things of that nature, how are they going to pay for that? So I do believe that college athletes should get paid into the fact that to help them pay for external payments or bills or any type of things that they have to pay for that the school is not able to cover. I'm totally with it. But I don't like the fact that kids nowadays are starting to get greedy. Why were you wanting look, I'm going to read your stats out to him. He had 2,600 yards. He had a 63% completion percentage, and he had a 19-5 TD interception ratio. You only threw for 2,600 yards in college. Nico, you completed 63% of your passes in college. So it's not like you had this all around just fantastic season. So guess what? Now you're going to UCLA. You're going to a worse program. And you're not going to make it to the college football playoff. Not with UCLA. And the father, he was trying to claim that this was more to do with, Tennessee not running the offense to Nico's strengths, blah, 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 blah. but it's just NIL's a problem. And another problem that plagues this, and another thing that's why the NCAA needs to fix this, is the transfer portal. Why is the transfer portal opening during the college football playoff? It irked my nerves for the life of me when a quarterback from Penn State had to enter the transfer portal when his team was in the middle of the college football playoff because he had to enter because he was a quarterback and spots were getting filled, so he couldn't stay on his roster in the chance and hopes of achieving and the ultimate goal of getting a college football championship. He had to sacrifice that and enter the transfer portal and not be able to sit and be with his teammates and enjoy that. That needs to be fixed. There's no reason why a head coach, for instance, you are the head coach of Ohio State and Ryan Day. You won this is before you won the national championship. So knowing that you were going to possibly win the national championship because you spent $42 million in NIL money, you were favored as one of the ones to win the playoff, you had the best team in your eyes, your star player, or somebody who, I wouldn't say a star player because the star players will more than likely stay, but a key player, maybe a backup linebacker, a defensive tackle, a cornerback. If somebody gets hurt, that he's a very good player that you can plug and play. He had to hit the portal because he may not get if he stays with you, he ain't going to be able to get on another good team, another contending team where he could actually start, looking out for himself and the hopes and chances of him going to the league one day. That's a problem. A huge problem. And then you got the portal that's open in the spring. And it's after spring workouts, the spring game. And then Kirby Smart was saying this last year. He just wants to know who's going to be on the guys that's in the spring game are going to be in his roster next year. Imagine you are a coach. You're having your spring game. And you think you got your quarterbacks and things, everybody in place, and all of a sudden, oh yeah, you're starting quarterbacks hitting the portal out of nowhere. He's getting more NIL money somewhere else. That affects the program. That affects the coach. These players are getting too much power at this age. Way too much. Are the coaches in the 80s even doing anything anymore? They're just playing, okay, I'm going to give you this money. Come play with me. No rules, no regulations, no nothing. There's no buyouts, no type of regular stuff like. So somebody said this on Fox Sports, and it was very interesting. What if the Dallas Cowboys are getting ready to compete for a Super Bowl, even though it's not going to happen? We all know why. And CeeDee Lamb, your best wide receiver, comes up out of nowhere. You're getting ready to get into the playoffs, and all of a sudden, you know what? I'm leaving. I'm getting traded. I'm going to another team. Not even traded. He just gets to leave. He don't get to just leave whenever he wants to. No breach of contract. No nothing. No, I just leave. I'm gonna go to another team next season. I don't want to be with y'all no more. That's essentially what they're doing in college right now. It's a problem. So the things that the NCAA, and if you're listening, NCAA, wake up, because you need to fix this crap. So number one, what we need to do is move the transfer portal window. Have it right after the college football playoff is over. The college football playoff has been over since January. So guess what? There's a good You got a good month and a half, 2-month period to get the transfer portal, hit the portal, be with your team before spring ball. And guess what? You're able to be with that team during spring ball, and you don't have to worry about, the coaches can worry about them guys being on their roster coming up in the season. There's no, screw that winter portal, screw that spring portal. Put that bad boy right after the college football playoff is over, 2 weeks after. And let it open up for that a month and some change. Long enough for them to establish where they need to go. Transfer, get there for spring ball, ready to go, ready to rock with that team. Nothing changes that whole summer. Bam! You know you're going to have those guys on your roster next year for the coaches. Another thing, we need some NIL contracts, because there's no reason why a player can, like Nico Iamaleava, can just get up and leave and request more money as he pleases and get as much money as he wants to. No. These guys need to understand there's rules and regulations to everything. You just can't get and choose as you please. Absolutely not. We need establish some loyalty here, because Nico Iamaleava is being painted as probably a bad person in his teammates' eyes. He is. I imagine he is. So how about let's establish some guard regulations, make them sign a contract, have the structure the same way as the NFL does with their contracts. You just can't allow players to just get up and walk out of the money that they're getting and just go get it from somebody else. Because it's turning to the fact of the MLB, with whoever's got the most money wins everything. But at least the MLB has a contract, so players just can't get up out of nowhere and just say, okay, I'm just going to somebody else. We got to establish some type of regulation here. And I understand what the college football has done. They wanted to hurry up and get this on the NIL thing on speed dial because they wanted to get the kids to get paid. They wanted to make them making money off themselves legal. Happened with Reggie Bush. Reggie Bush got his Heisman taken away from him because of this reason. But we got to. It's a problem in college football that it could only potentially get worse, and we have the NCAA has to nip this in the bud now before it gets worse in the future. Because if they don't, there's going to be more situations of this to bigger programs. It is going to taint what we love about college football. It is. So, whoever advised Nick, and this is important that we need to understand with these kids. Whoever advised Nico Iamaleava to do this is dumb. These kids got to understand this is right now money. This money you're getting ain't going to last you the rest of your life. Those who don't have the chance to make it into the NFL, possibly, I don't think Nico Iamaleava was that good. Could he make it in the league one day? Maybe, but guess what? And when you go to the league, you're not making crazy money like that. Maybe $1 million. That money, it's not going to last you the rest of your life. It's not. The way these kids spend money these days, high taste, that money ain't going to last them. You're setting them up. You're setting them bad financial advice already. If he's got advice, okay, if he's taking financial advice like this already, okay, I'm going to just leave my contract, ask for money when I know I'm not deserving of it, and get as much money as I can and milk it, and then get to the league and not be able to do nothing. You're gone away from the league, and then you got to get an actual job in the workforce. But guess what? You spent all your money. It's teaching kids bad financial advice. It really is. If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong. And I think it's just something that the college football committee and the NCAA, well, not the college football committee, that's got nothing to do with them, but the NCAA in general, they have to nip this in the bud because it is going to get worse. way worse. I hope Nico Iamaleava uses this as a lesson, and I hope the NCAA takes this as a warning, because we can't allow kids who think who's not worth this headache and not worth this type of money, allow them to get up as they please and go wherever they want to and mess up a program like Tennessee. I know that coach is having to go to the drawing board right now and get a quarterback. I know he's hurting. I know he didn't have this on his agenda. So we got to get it fixed. And that is all I got to say about that. Comment down below and let me know what you think. Do you think NIL needs to be fixed? Do you think Nico Iamaleava made the right decision? Let me know that all down below in the comments, and let me know what you think. Now, we're going to move on into more pop culture stuff. And I've seen the leaks, and I've been wanting to talk about them for the longest time. So, Supergirl suit got leaked last week, and she looks phenomenal. The thing is with these leaks, though, a lot of people didn't think they were true. But the DC official Instagram account released like a picture of Supergirl. I think it had something to do with Superman Day. It was a picture of her with ideally the same exact look. And I have to say, it looks very good. They went with the classic skirt, the high heel, I guess you could say, the cowgirl boot type of heel. I don't know what girls call it these days with them boots, whatever you want to call it, however you please. Long sleeves, and just, she looks amazing. The actress that's playing her looks like a Supergirl as well, so James Gunn's cooking. We also got some video from the set. I think that's true as well. So Supergirl looks great. I'm excited. And we got another look at somebody else as well. Mr. Lobo. We gotta I know that Jason Momoa did say that he was done filming his Lobo for the Supergirl movie. But it did surface on social media that this was created possibly by AI. So we got to take this look that we're getting here with Lobo with a grain of salt. But if we're just going strictly off the photo, great job, James Gunn. James Gunn is just sitting, he's cooking. Y'all can hate the man. He is doing a great job with these costumes for all these movies. Except for the exception of the Guy Gardner. I don't think Nathan Fillion needed a bowl cut on him. I don't know why he did Nathan Fillion like that. I don't like the Hawk Girl outfit. It's not sexy looking for me. Like the Supergirl look is a sexy costume. Like, why could you not do that for Hawk Girl? Especially Isabella Merced. She's a good looking lady. I don't know why he didn't do that. Also, Mr. Terrific, he looked great. So, with the exception of him, and I am in the minority. A lot of people don't like the Superman suit. I like the Superman suit to a certain degree. I just never liked the symbol. I think if you take the symbol off and put the regular symbol on there, it would look pretty good. To me, it would. But that's neither here nor there. That's just my personal opinion on that. But overall, I'm looking forward to the film. I think the set pictures look good. The set leaks look good. I know the girl is famous for the dragon. It's the sequel or the prequel to Game of Thrones. I don't know the exact name of it. Is it House of Dragon? That's what it's called. House of Dragon. I think the lady's name is Amelia Alcock. I didn't write her name down. I think that would have been a smart thing to do. Actress, she looks like her. I've never seen her act, so I don't know what to go in and what to expect from her. But James Gunn, I think he's cooked with most of the castings that he's made. So I have Lobo in itself was a great casting. I always said that he should have been Lobo to begin with. His Aquaman was literally Lobo dressed up as Aquaman, literally. Because I've been on the record saying I hate the way Jason Momoa acted as Aquaman, so I was very, very excited to see that he was Lobo. But I don't know what type of story that Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow will have. I think it will be outside of Earth. I could possibly imagine. I wonder how it ties into Superman. So we got a promising future for the future of DC, and if Avengers Doomsday and the Fantastic Four and the Thunderbolts are not as good as what people are going to hope for them to be, I think James Gunn is set up beautifully to be able to get DC on the map and turn the ship and put DC in the positive light, because people have DC in a very negative light right now. Super negative. Like, it's very disheartening at the way the DCU has been, just DC in general has been getting negative light in the entertainment industry. I tell people DC is way better, in my opinion, than Marvel. I will forever stand on that. I think they have better characters and better stories, in my opinion. So, James, you know what I want. I just want you to stay true to the source material, establish good characters, cast good cast. You can do it. You've done great with the Guardians of the Galaxy, so I have a lot of faith in him. He's made great. A lot of people love Peacemaker as well. I've never watched Peacemaker because I weren't very interested in it, but man, the future of DC is bright. And another aspect of DC that we're going to talk about as well is we got a very good new look at Superman. And it was released by Collider, and it was just basically a still image of Lex Luthor, James Gunn, and Superman. I'm over here trying to think of the actor's name. I don't know why I sat here and just paused and tried to think of the actor's name when I didn't even name out the actor's name of Lex Luthor. But it looks great. I liked how bright the suit looks. I know it's probably not going to look like that on film because James Gunn has a really weird color palette to his movies. Even though this color palette that he is a little bit brighter than what he usually goes for. But just something about his films, they have a weird color palette in the way the films are shot. So I know it's not going to look this bright looking, but I think they released this still just to embody what the film really is going to mean. It's going to be bright. It is going to have that type of tone that Superman fans has been wanting, what Superman fans really wanted with Henry Cavill. I still do believe that Henry Cavill should still be Superman, but David Corn Sweat, I think, is going to do a phenomenal job. There's been mixed signals that's been going on with this film. It's been getting mixed reviews. A lot of people says it's good. Some people says it's bad. A WB exec, I think, came out and said that it was good, but obviously it's a WB exec. He's going to pull for his own movie. That is a given. But I think this film's going to do good in the box office. I think it could possibly make $800 million. I really do. Does that seem like a high stretch given the state of the public image that DC has in the entertainment industry? Yes. But I really do think that this film could easily make $800 million. I think it can do better than Thunderbolts. And I think that it can do better than Fantastic Four. Because it's a fresh start, it's something new. And you're obviously already going to get the DC faithful to go and watch it. You're obviously going to get Superman fans to go and watch it. That itself can get you $400 million itself. So getting in I don't like to use the term modern audiences. We already know why. But getting different audiences in to go see this film, target audiences, you could get an extra $300 million easily. So I think there is a situation where this film could easily make $800 million, $800 million. That should be the goal. I think opening weekend, I think they should be able to make close to probably what Minecraft made. Not as much, I don't think, but they should get close to what Minecraft made. But I hope they release another trailer, and I have high hopes for the film. I hope it's good. I really, really do hope it's good because it has a lot of potential, and it's new. It's new content, and us DC fans cannot be picky and choosy. We're giving content, we gotta accept it, and we got to enjoy it. So I'm looking forward to it, and I hope you guys are looking forward to it too. Let me know down below in the comments, what do you think of this still image of Superman? Are you excited for Superman? Let me know all that down below in the comments. So moving on to our very last topic, Mr. Anthony Mackie, Mr. Captain America. He had a lot to say about the upcoming Avengers Doomsday movie, and he claimed that it is going to have old school Marvel vibes. He also, as I am making this video today, had something else to say that was just tweeted earlier today as well. He said that Avengers Doomsday will end in the cliffhanger and that no one is safe. Everyone is expendable. I want to first address the first topic that he said. Anthony Mackie said this already about old school Marvel being back. He said that about Brave New World. We know that Brave New World ended up being a flop. They made $80 million their opening day. They had a 60+% decrease in their second weekend at the box office, if I'm not mistaken. But in Anthony Mackie's defense, did Brave New World establish some aspect of old school Marvel? I think it did. I know many others might not think that, but I really think it did. I think it really did establish some aspect of old school Marvel. I really do. I really think it did. Because I could see that they were going for this Winter Soldier type vibes with the combat and the way that the movie looked, the way that it was shot, the story as well. Because the combat wasn't Winter Soldier, obviously, of course, because I have been on the record saying that combat looked god awful. I don't know what they were doing. Just it was bad on all fronts, and I don't know what they were doing. Whoever the choreographer was for that movie, he needs to be fired. I don't wish firing him up on people, but he just needs to rethink the way and just take some pointers from the Russo brothers on how to film some action, because the action in that movie, outside of the final fight scene with the Hulk, it was just bad. But I really do think with the Russo brothers at the helm of this project, I think that this movie is definitely going to have old school Marvel vibes to a certain degree. But what that should mean is that there shouldn't be no political stuff in the movie. It should establish what the old films did, some nostalgia, just worry about telling a story, and that's it. Good fight scenes, good storytelling, good acting, good script, good chemistry. You will have a great movie. A lot of people already don't like the aspect of Dr. Doom and, Robert Downey Jr. playing Dr. Doom. I don't have a problem with it. I still don't have a problem with it at all. I just think that just stay true to the characters. I think Robert Downey Jr. has the chance to pull it off. The Krabby Patty formula is there. Marvel just has to follow it. The Russo brothers has to follow it. So, with Anthony Mackie's other quote as well, saying that there's going to be some surprises, it will end in a cliffhanger, no one is safe, everyone is expendable. So, especially in it leading up to Secret Wars, I think there might be a chance that this film might have an Infinity War type of ending to it, to where it's going to lead up to the next Avengers film, which I imagine it's going to. I think that's definitely how that's going to go. I just hope the film's good, y'all. There's not really much to say. I just wanted to bring up this topic because Anthony Mackie said it, and it was very just, It embodied what he said for his promotion of Brave New World. And I think that had a lot to do with saving his PR from what he did when he made those statements about Captain America not being American and that whole drama with that. That was still a bad idea, bad PR decision. I know his Marvel's PR practitioners was like, Anthony Mackie, what the crap are you doing saying something like that? But I think Anthony Mackie has learned his lesson because this interview was with IGN. So him saying this is putting out good PR for the movie, making people and getting people excited. So there's nothing wrong with that. Because as a fan, I am excited as well. I'm interested to see how Robert Downey Jr. is going to portray Dr. Doom. Dr. Doom is one of my favorite villains I grew up with as a Marvel fan, him and Thanos. So I am very, very interested to see how they're going to handle that aspect of the film. What characters are going to be in it, the Spider-Mans of the world, the Hulks, and a lot of other key players are not expected to be in this film, and they wasn't announced in the original. Obviously, we got the old school X-Men's going to be a focal point of it. You had the Fantastic Four as well. There's a lot of people that's already guessing, is it going to be the X-Men trying to fight Dr. Doom, or just who knows? A lot of people are even saying the X-Men is going to team up with Dr. Doom to take down. We don't know. It's just Anthony Mackie's doing a good job setting up the film and getting people excited, and just, I think he's learning his lesson from his last stand with his PR practitioners. But let me know what you guys think of this. Are you guys excited to see the next upcoming Avengers movie? I know I am. I know a lot of Marvel fans should be. And that's all I have to say about that, guys. I don't think I'm missing anything. I think I've said all I have to say. You got the Krabby Patty formula there, Marvel. You just got to follow it. Stay true to it. And you're going to make a good movie, and you're going to make a crap ton of money. You just got to stick to your guns and stay true to them. So it's at the hands of the Russo brothers. And they got to make a good story, and they got to share the wealth across all of the different characters that are involved, because that's a crap ton of characters in one movie. And from the original reveal that they had, they said there is more to come. So more chaos that is heading into that movie. How are you going to deviate screen time for all those characters? The Russo brothers were able to figure out in their 2 Avengers movies that they were able to make. So I think they're going to be able to do it. You got the X-Men, Fantastic Four, and the regular Avengers, along with Dr. Doom. Go figure. I think, me personally, my hot take, I think it is going to be the X-Men versus the Fantastic Four and the new Avengers that are established as well. That's my prediction, and I think Dr. Doom is going to be pulling the strings behind the scenes, because that is how Dr. Doom is, and that is the character that he is. That is my prediction for the film. Let me know your prediction for the film, and what do you think is going to happen? And we have reached episode 12 of the Alpha Podcast. If you guys enjoyed, please let me know down below in the comments. Let me know if you enjoyed. Hit the subscribe button on a video. Drop a like on it as well, and to tap the notification bell to get notified when all my videos go live. Check out the Alpha Podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts if you just want to listen to it in your car or while you're doing any house chores or anything of that nature, and you just want to turn your phone off and just listen with your earbuds or anything. The traditional way on how this is how essentially my videos are made to be listened to anyways. So check that down below in the comments as well, and check out my other videos when it comes to sports, pop culture, trailer reactions, comic book commentary, and all those type of things. I thank you guys so much for joining me for yet another episode of the show, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one. I love you guys so much. Peace, love, and positivity always. I will see you on the draft. Peace.